18th Generation, Maharaja Mithilesh Kumar. The rule of Raja Mithilesh also was conspicuous by religious atmosphere. Example: Jap, Tap, Daan and Bhakti, worship, chanting, charity, devotion, etc. All the affairs of the administration were conducted according to the instructions of Yogis and Mahatmas. There is a strange and interesting anecdote famous about him. Once he was sitting in his palace with his most respected guest, Maha Kayakalp, perfect in changing the form, Yogi. All of a sudden, the Yogiraj wanted to know the importance and need of a son. The Maharaja was lost in a long and deep silence. After a moment, with head bowed down, he said, "O Yogiraj, in this context, I am remembering an example. If you permit, I will relate it." "Of course, O King, go on, I will listen to it attentively." Maharaja Mithilesh Kumar narrated the story. "See, O Yogiraj, in Satyug, the first age of virtuous atmosphere in Bharat, Bhagwan, Lord Shiva gave a bow to the great sage warrior Parashurama. He had also imposed a condition along with it. If he would have his food at the house of an issueless person, he would be deprived of the miraculous power of the bow. For the time being, the matter ended there. One day the mighty Parashuram attended the dinner hosted by King Janaka. But when, after full satisfaction, he wanted to take leave along with his mighty bow, gifted by Lord Shiva, he could not even budge it. Parshuram was stunned, and then flashed upon his mind the words of Lord Shiva. He came to know that King Janaka was issueless up to that time. So he left the bow there and returned to his place, repenting upon his mistake. After a long period, King Janaka, the bow and Parshuram were restored to their natural role after the birth of Sati Sita ji. So, O Yogiraj, so much importance is attached to the subject of issue. Even in our religious books and tradition, what more can we say? Hence, an issueless married person is called accursed. Yogiraj was very much pleased and amused by the clever presentation of the king and said, "All right, but O king, by tap and sadhana, spiritual austerity and spiritual efforts, impossible can be made possible. I will now tell you a way. If you follow the instructions strictly according to the schedule, you will be relieved from this curse, that is, you will have a son. Do order me, O Gurudev. I am prepared to undergo any mortification." The king spoke out eagerly. Gurudev explained, "O king, you shall have to give up your feelings of attachment and egoism. You will go to bathe in Ganga every day. You shall have to perform tapasya, spiritual mortification, by standing on your toes facing the sun. You will not have your meals without first feeding the saints and sages out of your plate. The first morsel will be offered to a cow. If any day no saint or sage visit your palace to take his food, you will keep hungry. O king, charity has been the cherished tradition of your dynasty. You will surely give away one cow in charity every day. After a short period, according to your cherished desire, you will be blessed with a son. But, O king, even afterwards you shall have to observe certain modes of conduct. After you have been blessed with a son, both of you will give up the relationship of husband and wife and will behave as a brother and sister, and performing all the austerities and religious devotion will fulfill the function of the state according to your Guru. O Supreme Power, all your orders are acceptable to us. The king and the queen said with one voice. From the very next day, they began to follow the instructions of Gurudev. Fortunate is Raja Mithilesh, who even after he had been blessed with a son, followed the advice of Gurudev to the letter and in due course, giving away the charge of the throne to their son Shambhu, opted the path of renunciation. His unbroken faith and devotion is sung all over the country, and the praise reverberates in the entire atmosphere. Very few people have got the capacity to understand a Sadguru, real spiritual guide. Because of his perfectly humane tendencies and noble nature, King Mithilesh was blessed with the arrival of one or other great spiritual soul while in his palace. If unfortunately some day passed without any such blessing, he regarded it as a day of punishment and penitence. That day, the royal couple kept a fast and spent the day in continuous prayer to God. During that same period, a yogi Mahatma Kalkanand lived on the bank of Ganga. His life was spent in yoga and tapasya. He had also built a small hut. He kept a bowl near him. A tiger skin was his seat. He was renowned saint. A lion, the king of the forest, was always at his service. Ghosts, spirits, and witches were also at his command. Even Devi Durga, goddess of power, came riding on her lion to see him. The yogi lived in the midst of all them, drinking the nectar from Ganga. Once Maharaja Mithilesh sat in the fort of his palace. All of a sudden there was an upsurge of the tapasya of his previous births. Just then he saw the naked lion-clothed sage. He thought about their condition. If they got a loaf of bread, all right. If not, even then all right. If some kind religious person gave them some clothes, they put on the same, otherwise wandered naked. They tolerated derisive words at many doors. The king felt very sad that God had given them simply a bowl after snatching their vast empires. They also inspired many of our ancestors to relinquish their thrones and to take up the way of yoga. It is not known whether these ancestors attained salvation or not. The king felt a great consternation at this. After pondering long over it, the king decided to go to search them. The royal attendants were with him. He took some foodstuff with him and set for the quest of saints and Mahatmas. After wandering for some time, he had the vision of a Kalgunjar, time beyond, Yogi Kalkanand Maharaj. He was strolling on the bank of Ganga. Raja Mithilesh Kumar saw that a sage was wandering with ash rubbed on his body and with only a lion cloth on. At the door of his hut, lion and other ghostly forms were acting as guards. Goddess Durga also moving about on her lion. When Yogiraj Kalkanand saw King Mithilesh coming towards him, he thought that the king had become blind with vanity because of his power over the kingdom. He at once, with his yoga power, collected the entire Ganga in his kamandal, wooden bowl. Now only one lion cloth-clad person was moving about the hut. The king was very much surprised as to where the Ganga had gone. After this, the Yogiraj addressed, "O hut, see, O Ganga, see who has come. Would you not welcome the king, before whom all people bow their heads?" The sage was at some distance from the hut. On hearing his order, the hut and the Kamandal both ran to pay their respects to the king. After welcoming the king, the hut resumed its original place and Yogiraj poured the water of the Kamandal back into the Ganga, which began to flow again with its limitless waters. Seeing this sight, the king was stunned with wonder that the hut stood exactly at the same place and the Ganga, which had just before dried up, now had resumed its flow with water everywhere. The king recognized the miracle of Yogiraj. Raja Mithilesh began to worship the yogi in his heart and said, O Yogiraj, the dilemma I had in my mind while coming here from my palace is now solved completely. I know very well now why my ancestors have been going to the forest after relinquishing their thrones and crowns. O Lord, you have shown me this miracle of yoga art to satisfy my quest. Now I have full faith that to a yogi, all the glories of pelf, property, and prosperity are meaningless. I also regarded myself as a Chakravarti king, conqueror, ruler of the world. But now I realize that I am nothing. O Master, you have submitted my ego completely. I have heard the example of yogis earlier also. The crowns of the greatest emperors have bowed down before yogis. Even the court of Indra, the king of gods, bowed before the great Yogeshwar Lalimanandji and Ugranandji. But out of ego, I felt it all to be a delusion. Your yoga power has forced me to look back and have a deep dip into the ocean of spiritual knowledge. With this feeling of renunciation, the king invited the Kulguru, family priest, in his palace. On his arrival, the king fell at his feet and offered pranam. He seated the Guru on his throne. The news of the king renouncing the throne was announced in the whole city with arrangements of public feast. Residents of nearby countries and their kings and princes also reached there. After the big public feast, Prince Shambhu was coronated. Charities were given on a large scale with cows, clothes, and ornaments, etc. etc. When Rukmani saw this scene from the heaven, that even today her motherland gives birth to such noble persons, tears of immense pleasure began to flow from her eyes. When Lord Krishna turned his eyes towards his Sasural, city of father-in-law, the plume of his crown also bowed down in reverence. All were extremely pleased and calm. Not a word was spoken. Spellbound, everybody was thinking, O God, our most cordial blessing is that their tapasya may be complete and successful, and they may forever remain true followers of their Gurudev. Hearing these whispers, the great sage initiated the king and queen to sannyas, the fourth stage. The king and the queen asked their son Shambhu what presents he was giving to Gurudev in Guru Dakshina, homage at the end of the learning period. Gurudev had given them everything meaningful. Give one elephant and a gold plate full of gold coins as a parting present to Gurudev on our behalf. What a scene at that time! Ganga stopped flowing. The sun made his heat mild. Wind slowed down into a languid breeze. This was the effect of the radiance, tapasya, and the power of devotion to Gurudev. During Satyug, the ancient virtuous age, Hiranyaksh had changed the direction of the wind from west to east and the one from east to west by the power of his strength and tapasya. Not only that, in his realm, crops grew without plowing and sowing the seed. Whenever he wanted, it rained. Such a power is earned and achieved only when there is a complete surrender by the disciple to his Gurudev. But the Shishya, disciple, also should keep it, also should accept a Guru after duly searching and testing. One should not adopt a Guru on just a brainwave. Maharaja Mithilesh had that capacity of correctly identifying and testing his Guru. He always fulfilled his family tradition and mode of conduct. He knew that this world is absolutely non-existent, that is unreal. You can make it as you like for you. The real king is one who has conquered with his willpower all the desires and sensual feelings and has, in a way, buried them deep. Everything else is a farce and a delusion. King Mithilesh was the fortunate descendant of Raghukul, dynasty of Holy King Raghu, who was blessed with Ganga like pious spiritual knowledge, renunciation and devotion to his Gurudev, and hence deserved the state of salvation.